And in fact, Fiona Breen has been visiting the museum and art gallery over the past few months to watch as the galleries have slowly come to life.
After a year of building, the removal trucks are returning with TMAG's treasures. The unpacking happens as builders finish the last stages of the $30 million refurbishment. Curators have 2,000 square metres of new space to fill, most all new shapes and sizes. Walls have been painted and pictures rehung. A host of rarely seen works have been taken out of storage and will be on display. A new 20th century exhibition has been hung in one of the Hunter galleries.
We wanted to tell the story of Tasmania today so that people can relate to it more. And what we have done also is probably 90 to 95% of the objects in this gallery are recent donations. They've been donated in the last 5, 6, 7 years, so they've never been on display before.
The museum wants to tell stories. There are the well-known ones like the dam dispute, gay law reform and the chocolate factory, and little-known tales like the 6-year-old bitten by a snake at Port Arthur and taken on board a naval ship docked in the harbour.
And the captain said, well, we have got a doctor on board, but you know, it's a naval ship and women really aren't allowed on naval ships. But look, what we'll do is we'll enlist her in the Navy and then we can get around all that. So they took her on board, they made her a uniform, they filled out enlistment papers for her and medical records for her. And her family donated her sailor's cap and all those enlistment papers to us about 2 years ago.
The popular Natural History Gallery has been refreshed. Curators recreated a native button grass plain with its natural life.
This particular exhibition, there were quite a lot of different people. So there was geologists and entomologists and zoologists, the herbarium guys. And on the button grass wonderland, they came up with an idea which is really a diorama. And the education guys were particularly clear about how the user might experience that, and they wanted the children to be able to push a button and hear bird cries, and they wanted frog sounds.
The museum's new taxidermist has been busy, putting together 60 new animals for display, from the big to the minute.
Bats, pygmy possum, honey eaters, model leeches, model snail, fungi, everything from sheep through right down to making rat poo. It's been extremely exciting, and to work in a museum is what I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. I've been going non-stop, really, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
The biggest transformation is in the museum's oldest building, the Bond Store, which was built in 1824.
Well, the Bond Store is probably the big one. The Bond Store has not been accessible to people. It just didn't have any of those accessible things that the 21st century demands. So we've created a spiral staircase. There's a new lift in there as well, so people can access all 4 floors of the Bond Store. And on 3 of those floors, we've created new exhibition. And I think people will enjoy those new exhibitions, which really it grounds us and gives us a foundation of where Tasmania came from.
It's the first time all floors of the colony's original commissariat building have been open to the public and filled with exhibits. Each floor has slowly come to life and tells a different story. On the top floor, the story of white settlement and Aboriginal life. As the story is told, it becomes obvious the building, once the main supplier of food and equipment to the colony, is part of the exhibition.
In the 1820s, when you're starting to have this major conflict between Aboriginal people who suddenly realised, hey, these white fellas aren't going to go away, they're here to stay, and we don't like this, and the Europeans, when that conflict happened, a lot of the European side of it was being organised by the Commissariat Department, and some of the activities were being supplied from these buildings here, and this building in particular. So that's why I say this building is a major object in the collection, in the exhibition, in the story.
On the floors below, colonial furniture, sculptures and more animals. In the courtyard, an old favourite, the Muttaburrasaurus guards the entryway.
It's a big, popular dinosaur. It's 10 metres long, it's 2.8 metres high. It didn't eat other dinosaurs, so it ate trees and grass, and so it's kind of a favourite with the kids when they come to the museum.
Today, the first crowds have been going through the museum. This weekend is expected to be a busy one.
With 10 days on the island, we've got 3 major projects happening. So Dream of the Thylacine is on in the basement of the Bond store here. We've got Mary Contrary, which Hannah Gatsby, the comedian, will be doing here later on the second weekend. And we've also got an exhibition from the Burnie Regional Art Gallery called Raymond Arnold, and it's his work that takes up 2 whole galleries.
After years of planning, building and a 4-month closure over the peak tourism months, the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery is looking to a bright future.
We're looking to grow our numbers up to about 450,000 people. So that's from an average of about 330,000 over the last 5 years. So we're already coming from a strong visitor base, and so we're just going to grow those numbers, and we're pretty confident we'll get that 450,000.